10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Four, three.
2, 1, 0. There we go. Those doors looked. And those doors were so. This is spooky. Spooky. We're in a movie theme. This is pretty cool.
Sailors, you must not be content with only doing your duty, but you must do more than your duty. Those ships must be taken. Go to your guns!
March 8th, 1862. At 1:30 p.m., the CSS Virginia and her 2 escorts steam into Hampton Roads at high tide.
We should take a glass and have a look, sir. I believe that things are coming down at last.
The ships of the Union's North Atlantic blockading squadron, including 5 major warships, are taken by surprise. The steamers off Fortress Monroe begin to belch smoke, while the sailing vessels off Newport News Point prepare for the coming action. The Virginia is under the command of Flag Officer Franklin Buchanan, one of the most aggressive officers in the Confederacy. Though the Union ships have a combined total of 291 guns to the Virginia's 10, they are wooden vessels. Buchanan is determined to prove what will happen when wood meets iron. As the Virginia comes within range, the Union ships and shore batteries open fire. The Congress unleashes a 26-gun broadside, a blast that would stagger any wooden warship, but not the Virginia.
Full steam ahead! On to the Cumberland!
The Virginia steams past the Congress, blasting her as she goes, severely damaging the frigate. Buchanan wants the Cumberland first. Her rifled guns pose a threat to the Virginia's armor. Buchanan bears down on the sloop, closing to within 1,500 yards. Buchanan's first shot rips through the Cumberland's starboard rail. The second destroys an entire gun crew. Soon the Cumberland's decks are running with gore. Blood flows from her scuppers.
Here she goes!
The Virginia continues her approach, her iron plates pounded by Union guns. Yet she remains shotproof.
Prepare to repel boarders!
Like some huge, half-submerged crocodile, the Virginia closes in. The Virginia's rifled bow gun blows a hole into the Cumberland's hull. At the same instant, her ram crashes through the Cumberland's starboard side. Water gushes in. The Cumberland begins to sink. But then alarm sweeps through the Virginia. Her ram is stuck. Even with full power in reverse, she cannot pull away.
Reverse engines! Reverse engines!
At last, the Virginia pulls free. Buchanan brings the ironclad broadside to the Cumberland and continues to punish her at point-blank range. The men fight on like demons. They're sending the Cumberland down. On the Cumberland, men continue to fire the guns even as the water rises around them, until finally Lieutenant Morris gives the order to abandon ship. The Cumberland's blackened decks look like a slaughterhouse on fire. At last, she shudders and slips below the waves. Now Buchanan can turn his attention to the Congress. But the Virginia's steering is cumbersome, and her draft so deep that she must steam up the James River to turn around. En route, she destroys 3 Union transports anchored along a wharf, and inflicts severe damage at Camp Butler. She is on a slow but deadly rampage. As the Virginia moves upriver, the crew on the stranded Congress believes it has been spared. Then the Virginia completes her turn. It is just after 4 p.m. The Virginia, impervious to the guns of the Congress, pulls within 200 yards of the mighty wooden warship and opens fire.
The commander's hit! Lieutenant Smith! The commander's hit!
Command of the Congress falls to Lieutenant Austin Pendergast. He takes stock of his situation. The ship's decks are slippery with blood. A quarter of his men dead or wounded. Several large fires raging. Pendergast makes the difficult decision to surrender.
They're giving up the white flag!
Buchanan is relieved. His own brother is aboard the Congress.
Cease fire! Signal the Raleigh and the Beaufort to take the officers and the wounded as prisoners. Permit all others to swim ashore. Then set her afire!
In the relative calm of the moment, as Confederates board the Congress, Union soldiers on the nearby shore open fire.
The scoundrels are firing on our white flag!
Buchanan is enraged. He climbs onto the hurricane deck of the Virginia for a better view of the action.
Bring me a rifle!
A Union bullet soon finds him.
Lieutenant Jones, take command, destroy that ship, plug hot shot into her, and don't leave till she's afire. Aye, sir.
The Union steamers off Fortress Monroe have run aground trying to reach the scene of action. The Virginia moves within a mile of the Minnesota and begins shelling. Lieutenant Jones wants to take out the Minnesota before the day is done. But the Virginia's pilot cannot navigate in the treacherous channels of Hampton Roads at night, especially at low tide. Under heavy fire, he steams for Sewell's Point to wait for daybreak. The Virginia seems unstoppable. A general panic seizes the North.
This is frightful news. It's the greatest Union calamity since Bull Run.
Any minute, we'll look out the window and see that ship steaming up the Potomac to lay waste to the capital.
But the USS Monitor, under the command of Lieutenant John Warden, is already nearing Hampton Roads. At 9 p.m., she steams into sight. Union sailors realize that their own ironclad has arrived.
It looks just like a speck.
What could that little thing do?
But many are not sure the small ship can save them. Aboard the Monitor, the crew surveys the destruction in the harbor. They are shocked and vow their revenge upon the Merrimack. The so-called Virginia will pay. Warden takes a boat to the Roanoke to be briefed on the day's events by Captain John Marston.
I have orders to send you to Washington to protect the capital. But the best place to defend Washington against the Merrimack is right here. Yes, sir.
The Monitor moves into position to protect the Minnesota, still stuck on Hampton Flats.
We're here to save you.
The commander of the Minnesota is doubtful. Anxiety grows as both crews sit on the decks and watch the Congress burn in the distance. At midnight, the flames reach the ship's powder magazine.
Up hammocks, weigh anchor.
March 9th, 6 a.m. The Virginia departs Sewell's Point, accompanied by the Patrick Henry, Jamestown, and Teaser. Their target is the Minnesota, but heavy fog delays their approach. Finally, at 8:30, the Virginia closes within range and sends its first shot through the Minnesota's rigging. Now, the Monitor advances.
What is that?
That is the Erickson battery.
Gentlemen, that is the Merrimack. You had better go below.
At 8:45 a.m., iron meets iron. For the next 4 hours, the ironclads hammer away at each other at less than 100 yards, testing every inch of their armor. But the Monitor's gunners have problems that are often disoriented inside the continuously turning turret. Is also difficult to start and stop. They fire the cannons on the fly. On the Virginia, the gunners are frustrated by the Monitor's spinning marble.
Never get sight of her guns, except when they're about to fire into us.
Neither ship can gain the advantage.
Keep firing! It's a waste of ammunition, sir. I can do as much damage to the Monitor by snapping my fingers at her every 5 minutes. Powder is precious, sir.
Just before 10 a.m., the Monitor breaks off action and steams into the shoals to replenish the supply of ammunition in the turret. On board the Virginia, Lieutenant Jones seizes the opportunity and steers straight for the Minnesota. The Virginia runs aground.
Reverse engines! Reverse engines! Keep going! Slash down the safety valve and smoke her up! Pour on anything that'll burn!
The Monitor moves in and pounds her stranded prey.
We're moving! We're off! Prepare to ram!
But the Virginia has no ram. It went to the bottom of the Cumberland the day before. The force of a collision could damage the ship.
They're going to really stop!
The Virginia misses her mark. The glancing blow does little damage to either ship, but positions the Virginia to break for the Minnesota. The Monitor circles and tries her own ramming maneuver, but misses. The Virginia's stern gun strikes.
Ah! My eyes! I'm blind!
Captain Warden is badly wounded. He passes command of the Monitor to Lieutenant Samuel Dana Green. The Virginia turns again for the Minnesota and opens fire. But the tide is receding. The Virginia can't get close enough to the Minnesota to destroy her. The Monitor veers off onto a shoal.
The Monitor has run into the shallows. She's giving up the fight.
Lieutenant Jones reluctantly turns back to Norfolk for repairs. He believes he's leaving the Union ironclad disabled. The Monitor is not disabled. Lieutenant Green confers with his wounded commander.
Gentlemen, I leave it with you. Do what you think is best. Minnesota. If you can.
Lieutenant Green lets the Virginia go and returns to the Minnesota side, obeying his original orders to protect her.
That thing has run away!
The Monitor broke off the fight. It's a great day for the Confederacy.
Look at her skedaddle!
The Monitor has won the day.
On March 9th, 1862, iron met iron at Hampton Roads in a spectacular battle that was fought to a draw. But in the battle between iron and wood, there was a clear victory. And it changed every navy in the world.